actually just thinking, because we were talking before record labels and about all this influence that artists have and the gatekeepers that kind of control this. But do you think things like Spotify and YouTube and all these new forms of media that are really changing the music industry have more, I guess, offer a lot of more hope for independent artists like you?
That is a two-edged sword because now like this last summer, you just realize that we have 16 albums, but CD sales are almost absolutely obsolete now. Like you have all these albums, but now everyone wants it for free on Spotify. So you're like, well, that's great that I'm getting exposure, but if you're not buying my albums, how am I supposed to eat? So I think on Spotify, I think you get paid like $1 per every 10,000 streams or something. It's like 0.00000001 penny per stream. So that kind of hurts, but then now buyers will look to see how many monthly listeners you have on Spotify to see if you're actually a legit act. So they use your monthly follower to whether or not they're going to book you. So it counts as a strike against you if you're not on Spotify. So you kind of have to do it because these buyers are looking at as one of the things that they look at. They look at your social media following. They basically want to know how many people are you going to bring. So we do Spotify. We're on there. I think if you don't want to tour, it's an amazing thing. Because I have a lot of friends that they're not even real bands, but they have like their new release gets picked up on a playlist on Spotify and they'll have like 5 million listens and they don't even tour. And then they have this follow, and so they can create it like an at-home career. So I think, if you're an artist here, it's like because of Spotify and YouTube, there's a lot of ways of expressing. Before, if you wanted to do this, you had to form a band and you had to tour. But the nice thing is you can just be all the instruments. You could be in your bedroom and you could play every instrument on the song, do all the voices, release it on Spotify, and have it like a pretty decent following. And I think a lot for the people that know they want to do music and they have a song in their hearts, but they also know that they're not meant to be touring and away from family and home. Spotify and YouTube can be an amazing thing. So that's my answer.
How do you balance? I just want to end with this last question. How do you balance touring, your family life, your vocations for both areas?
Yeah, it's I didn't get married till 3 years ago. Well, actually two and a half years ago. And so it's kind of a work in progress, but I just feel this. We used to do 150 shows a year. And then we kind of got locked in at 90 shows a year. But then like last year we did 65 shows. And so I'd like to keep it around that 65 shows because every show you should factor it's like 2 days because you have to travel to get there and back. So you're like gone from your family 120 days a year. But we mostly just do the weekends. And we may do like 2 10-day runs a year. But it's I kind of look at it as being like someone in the Navy. They get deployed for 6 months at a time. I basically get to be at home all day long, but I have to be gone 120 days but spread out throughout the year. So it ends up being actually a very nice. I kind of laugh about this. Like one of the best things that ever happened in my faith life was to become a rock star. That's my joke because I can go to daily mass. I can arrange my day. I can do a holy hour. In which most of my friends can't do because they have to commute to their 9 to 5. And so to say I'm a musician, it's too hard for me to keep my faith life up. It's actually the opposite. If you're a musician, you could become an amazing saint for the amount of time that you have free to go and just sit in front of the Eucharist at that Adoration Chapel. And one thing I just wanted to mention, if you do find yourself touring, and a lot of times when you're on the road, you just can't make it to mass because either you're in a vehicle that has non-Catholics, you're touring with non-Catholics or whatever. The thing that kind of I found was a huge element of me keeping my faith was, one, never miss Sunday mass. Try to go to confession once a month, just to keep yourself honest. But I subscribed to the Magnificat, and I would do all the morning prayers, the mass prayers every day, and then make a spiritual communion. And you can do that if you're surrounded by pagans. Nobody knows what you're doing on your phone. I would encourage you, even if you're not an artist, I would encourage you just to get in the rhythm of the church. There's a strength, especially, Tommy was talking about Father Ripperger. He said, just saying the Angelus at, 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m., if you get any of those hours, you're joining everyone on earth that has a love of God and the Blessed Mother. There's a strength in that prayer, which is beyond just you praying by yourself and believing in the communion of saints. So the Magnificat is you're joining in with everyone else that's reading the Magnificat, or anyone that goes to mass and you make a spiritual communion. There's such a strength. And you kind of, after 20 years on the road, you learn to see the face of the devil through the misery that you observe, and also through your own failings. And then also, you begin to believe in the power of grace by seeing things that happened that shouldn't have happened, that for the good, or things that could have happened that were bad that didn't happen. And you're aware that there are things as guardian angels. There is grace in the world. There's inspiration. You feel that as an artist. And but this is what's offered to all of us, whether we're artists or not. We just have to choose to become more aware of it. And then life starts taking on a brand new excitement, because when you wake up in the morning, you're like, all right, God, how are you going to speak to me today in little ways? I open my heart and my ears, and I'm willing to see. And I'm going to do my part to try to keep things out that are going to muddy up my lenses or clog my ears from hearing what you want me to do, because I'm an irrepeatable soul, and I have a mission, whether to create an art, whether to create a beautiful home, or to create beautiful community. I want to be at your service. So just use me. I'm your pencil, and I give you full permission to use me today. And I think if you do that and you ask the Holy Spirit into your heart, you're going to start realizing just how valuable you are to him. And you're going to experience interactions that you never could have done on your own. And that's what we have found with our career.
That's beautiful. Dan, thank you so much for your time. So Scythian is coming to play in Chicago on March 5th. It's a Sunday at 6 p.m. at the Athenaeum.
A Sunday in Lent. That means you can break fast.
Your little Easter at a beautiful venue. The Athenaeum promotes the true, good, and the beautiful. So it's a beautiful unity. And also, just a plug too for Scythian, they have, Dan and Alex, and maybe the other guys as well, they have the Appaloosa Festival and Labor Day weekend in DC. I've yet to go, but I have a friend who is willing to go with me this year, so hoping to make that.
Oh, that's going to be great. A great festival. We're lining up the acts now, so we're super excited. I'm excited about the Athenaeum because it's just a gorgeous venue. Like I said, the mission really jives with what we have. And our opening act, the Great Whiskey Project, is one of our great buddies, another ex-seminarian. We met just when we all left seminary together.
Oh.
So many years ago. And so we're getting reunited with a little 1-2 punch here. So I think it's going to be an awesome night of music. And we hope that people can come out and rally, because we're trying to lay down roots in Chicago. When we look at our Spotify demographic, our largest listenership is in Chicago. So we're hoping that we can kind of come and start doing shows more often there. And I think this would be an amazing kickoff to that.
That's just me listening on repeat, not to disappoint you.
Well, it's just one person.
Well, we'll have a great turnout, and I'm very excited. I know a lot of other young adults and a lot of the other people from the Irish community and various communities here are super excited. They also have some Ukrainian friends who will be able to join it, and we'll appreciate that. So
That's great. Yeah, we also started an initiative where all of our digital downloads, starting at Christmas till March 1st, are going to be going to the Knights of Columbus Fund to help Ukraine, because they're going to just to get through the winter. The gas lines are being cut, the infrastructure is just, I mean, everything's imploding. So Knights of Columbus have raised over $20 million to kind of go help Ukrainian people there. And so I think we're going to have some other initiatives at the show in March to help Ukrainian people.
wonderful. Yeah. Although the Christmas season just wrapped up, Scythian just put out a new CD, which is amazing. I love it.
A Christmas album. Yeah, Christmas album. Yeah, I mean, if you can just annoy your friends and just get the Christmas album and play it all year, and they'll hate you for it. But
I've got some friends who are happy to listen to Christmas music all year long, so it'll be great for them.
Well, thanks so much for setting this up. I mean, I hope to meet all of your crowd and crew on March 5th, a Sunday in Lent. Remember, so come ready to celebrate.
All right. Well, Dan, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in just a couple of weeks.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks, Dan. God bless, brother.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey mama ya, mama yo, mama don't lose me like if I'm beyond a stone. Stay with me a while longer till the new moon. Save me from the curse of a Creole tune. Hey mama ya, mama, hey mama yo, save me from hell.